Welcome to TradeTheMBA.com. This is John's Reports for the 10th of September, leading up to the annual memorial of 9/11 from way back. Well, we had a nice rebound right off 50%. I mean, those institution guys, as soon as it got to that boom, were buying that stuff up as quickly as they could. And all was really was a result of was filling these positive extremes that set up here, which, interestingly enough, tells you we do not have an overbought market, and we're very close to the all-time highs at the 3380 range. That's the beauty of that kind of a simple move. We never dip below the red line from an extreme standpoint, so nothing incongruent about what we're seeing. Real fast short-term buyer, turnaround push, happened fast, and that's all it took for everything to just continue to progress. Not getting any move in gold yet. It's a little too soon for anything like that to happen. Of course, the euro soft because it looks like the EU is making some improvement with their growth issues, except for the problem is that all the other factors with the EU are going to start weighing on it, despite the fact that intentionally the dollar is going to be devalued for all of that stimulus. And of course, they're voting on a new stimulus package, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. If there's success with that, that could really propel us to get closer to that 4,000 ES mark. From an oil standpoint, again, without this return to normalcy, you're going to continue to have oil suffer, and it's going to have to be propped up. From a 5K standpoint, well, it was pretty clear. What you see on the screen here is a program setup that I've been working with where we have our power mode 2 cross signals that caused it to flip to green setups. It wasn't looking for following a trade or anything like that. Just every time we got the cross with the corresponding DOC dip of orange in that to justify entry level. So what I did was added into it the transition of the long algorithm from steep declines to avoid setups where you have steep declines at it turns. And so what it is every one of these dotted greens that go from the 50% to 0 would be an indication of where it would clearly determine that the trend had changed. And this is particularly just for 5K useful setup. So I'm going to be adjusting this paint bar that will reflect when that happens. Now, even if it has a turnaround signal, but there's no corresponding power mode 2 signal or anything like that, it's obviously not going to colorize. So it's just interesting when you see a uptrend like we saw the other day, which was massive and pretty much stayed above the 76% algo throughout the entire run. So really was never any question about sticking with it until the end of the day, where we ended up on a secondary DOC spread. The first one started right there, that retraced to the 76, secondary pop back up, was a nice little ride, but then it literally cascaded off of DOC spread and then the breakdown of the red DOC, and then that led us to the 0. We only had a few positive extremes, and of course previous setups where the algo, and then of course we dipped below the red line right about here, which is what we're filling in back right there, and then we had the setup of the positive extremes that took place. Our earliest one was right here, less dynamic than the ones that started this run. That was just a little bit further up, and then when we got the secondary weakness, that gave us the 0, and then the break of it heading towards that 3358 from well before, and it just puts us right back in the same range. Nothing real shocking as we develop these continuation zones, and that's exactly how beautiful it is when you have the market and you're easily able to just add to it. It just takes a little impetus from some motivated individuals, and boom, everything goes right back to where it was. As always, though, I will update the paint bar, and I'll even send out this version as soon as I have it isolated. But it'll be added into the PNT2, which will just adjust where you would see like yellow candles and orange candles, that aspect as well. So it's all going to get incorporated into the single white MBI candle as it's all completed, and we just have clean and simple setups. As always, Trade well. We'll talk to you later.